Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Sober Scope. This is India Gantz, your host, and today we're going to be talking about those first 3 or so days in sobriety. I get so many messages, and also in our Facebook group, I see people commenting all the time, I just can't get past day 3. Like, how do you make it past that first stage? And I hear you. Those are the hardest days, period. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I do have some good strategies to help you get through those first few days. And just know that you're not alone. Seriously, this is one of the most common questions I receive is how do you get past the first 3 days? If you're not a part of our Facebook group, you should totally join. It's an online support group that is totally free. I'll leave the link in the description of the episode. But seriously, in that Facebook group, so many of the comments are, guys, how do you get past day 3? I keep doing 2 days and then I fail. I'm so mad at myself. I did 4 days and then I failed. Like, that first week is kind of the sweet spot for failure, I suppose. Like, so many people cannot get past that first bit. And I totally understand. Seriously, absolutely no judgment. The first week is really, really hard, and especially those first 3 days. So I'm going to give you some tangible tips, and we're also just going to talk about the details of withdrawals, what that can look like, what to look out for, etc., etc. Let's get into the episode because I want everyone to succeed. I want all of you to be able to achieve sobriety, and once you get past that first week, it gets, I'm not going to say easy, but it gets easier. Those first few days are just really hard. So hopefully this episode will help you get past those first few days. Let's get into it, folks. Welcome to the Sober Scoop. This is a judgment-free zone where we talk about how to get sober and stay sober. You're not alone. I hope you feel seen. Quitting alcohol is the best decision I've ever made. Okay, so you probably could have guessed. I have to start this episode with a little medical PSA or warning or whatever you want to call that. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I am just speaking on my own personal experiences, so always consult a doctor for anything medical related. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. So, like I said, this is not medical advice, but here's the deal with the withdrawal symptoms. So many people get hung up on that, and I'm one of them. I feel like I didn't quit for so long because I was scared of withdrawal, because unfortunately, alcohol is one of the only drugs you can die from quitting. And that's really scary, and it's a very real thing. And so I think so many people are like, yeah, I want to quit. I want to stop tomorrow, but I might kill myself if I stop tomorrow. That's dangerous. And then they don't end up ever getting sober. I mean, raise your hand if that thought has crossed your mind, because I feel like that's another really, really common question I get is like, what about the withdrawal symptoms? Like, I can't just quit cold turkey, right? So it's just such a blurred line, and that's why I don't want to give any like hard and fast advice, but I'm just going to speak on the issue of withdrawals. So I was scared of withdrawal symptoms too. I really was. And here's what I did. I tried to taper off, emphasis on tried. I started it makes me sad thinking about it because I literally called alcohol my medicine, and I was like, yes, I'm quitting, but this one that I'm having is my medicine for the day. That's how I looked at it. I forced myself to have about 3 or 4 drinks a day so that I wouldn't, harm myself. And, I will have gone 6 hours and I start to get, that itchiness, that angst, that I need a drink really badly, and I would say, okay, I'm going to allow myself to have one so that I don't die, basically. I literally called it my medicine. And so that's what I tried. I tried tapering off, and I said, okay, I'm going to have, 6 this day, then 5 the next day, then 4 the next day, then 3 the next day. And that was my plan. And it worked. It worked for a little while. I did reduce the amount that I was drinking before I officially quit, quote unquote, cold turkey. But I did reduce it for a little while. But then the issue was I started getting back into full-blown drinking. When I was reducing and trying to get down to that 3, 2, 1 a day number, I never successfully got there. I probably failed at about 4. I had tapered down to 3 or 4 a day, and then I went back up to full-blown 10 drinks a day again. So my whittling down method was working, but then it failed me. But then once I started heavily drinking again, after the tapering off failed basically, then I quit cold turkey. So I do think that the tapering off still helped me, if that makes sense. I'm trying to remember the timeline, but I feel like I was trying to taper off. I got down to 4 drinks a day or something, and then I went full-blown drinking again, probably for 3 days. And then I said, what am I doing? Apparently tapering is impossible for me, so I just quit. So, you know what I'm saying? It's the tapering did contribute, I think, to the safety of my quitting cold turkey. But I was immediately before quitting cold turkey, I was full-blown drinking again. So I don't know. For me, it was tapering off just made me think about alcohol more and made it harder. I always say that moderating is harder than quitting, and I think tapering off is pretty hard as well. So just calling it and saying today's the day I'm not drinking anymore, that was easier for me mentally. But I understand that that's not always the safest route, especially if you were drinking really high levels of alcohol. There are all different factors. I mean, if you read up online, they'll say that the dangerous withdrawal can happen to people who weren't even that heavy drinkers. So I don't know. I mean, it's just such a sketchy line there between you're trying to do something good for yourself and quit consuming this substance, but then it's dangerous to just quit it altogether. So, gosh, they don't make it easy on us, do they? So, anyway, there's another weird balance between withdrawal symptoms that are normal and withdrawal symptoms that are concerning. And this is where I'm not going to be the one to tell you at which point it's concerning, because I don't even know myself. I experienced some pretty serious restlessness, just that angst, and I could not sit still. And I did experience some light shakes. I mean, I experienced shakes if I didn't have a drink for 8 hours, overnight. When I was really heavily drinking, I'd wake up and be shaking. So when I quit, yes, my hands were shaky. I guess you have to really try to listen to your body. And for me personally, it never got to a concerning place where I thought I need to go get help or something. But listen to your body. Take a look at your situation and how you drink alcohol. And I mean, I'm going to just blanket statement say that talking to a doctor is obviously going to be the safest option. Just telling somebody else what you're doing so that they're aware and they can advise. And if you think that you are a crazy case of alcoholism, or you are a really, really heavy drinker, I promise you the doctor has seen worse. So don't be scared to talk to them. Not speaking from experience, because I was too scared to talk to a doctor, but it is always the safest option. And it's the best solution for you is going to be quitting alcohol, right? And if you want to get there in the tried and true way, not dangerous, talk to a doctor. And a lot of people say that they give you stuff to ease the transition into an alcohol-free life. And I'm not going to lie, quitting cold turkey was really hard. It was really, really hard. Hard on the body, and like I said, it can be dangerous. So the doctor can give you stuff that will help you not have as many cravings for alcohol, but also just like ease that transition for your body so that nothing dangerous happens. And they'll like monitor you and make sure that you're all right. And it never hurts to talk to a doctor. So I'm just throwing that out there. But if you go the route that I did and you just straight up quit, just pay attention to your body as best as you can and don't push yourself too far. Like if it's getting dangerous, go in and talk to somebody. So anyways, had to get the withdrawal stuff out of the way. And that's a very common question I get asked. And I think that the scare of the withdrawals is what keeps people from getting sober. I do think that some people use it as an excuse to say like it'd be too dangerous for me to quit, so I'm just never going to. Or I'm going to try to taper off and then they never do it successfully. So eventually you do have to just quit. But that can be dangerous. So gosh, it's a toughie. It is a toughie. But moving on from that. So take from that what you will, but be safe out there. Now, let's get into some tangible tips. You have decided that you're not drinking anymore. So right out of the gate, I'm going to recommend an adaptogen drink. You don't have to do this, but it really, really helped me. Adaptogen drinks have things like L-theanine, ashwagandha, and other like functional plants, I guess, that help you feel calm and relaxed. This is not THC. This is not alcohol. This is its own category. You can buy them right off the shelf at Target, so it's not like a drug or something like that. And some people say that they don't even notice the effects of an adaptogen drink. Sometimes they just taste like a nice, lightly sparkling water. And that's all you want it for. But for me, when I quit alcohol and I was dealing with that ultra hyperactivity and the restlessness, these relaxing adaptogen drinks really, really helped ease that transition into sobriety. They really did. So here's the ones I'm going to give you. We have Recess, which I've talked about a lot, and that is the one that I drank when I first got sober. But in my sobriety, I've discovered Hi-Yo drinks, and they're my new favorite. H-I-Y-O. I'll leave a link in the show notes so that you can shop it if you want. They're also available at Whole Foods. And in my opinion, they're the best tasting. This could be all in my head, but I think that they have a little bit stronger of a relaxing effect than the Recess drinks. But I don't know. It could be because I haven't had a Recess in a while. Try them both, see what you like. But I do advise an adaptogen drink to just help you through that transition. And it just makes me feel good to like crack into a special drink. We just quit this substance that we used to look forward to every single day. Like give yourself a little something. It's like you make it through the day, you're running on caffeine and sparkling water and soda, and at the end of the night, you get your Hi-Yo drink or your Recess drink. It kind of helps with the ritual of having a drink in the evening as well. And you can put it in a wine glass with ice and like make yourself a special little drink. It feels good. It's good for a lot of reasons. So I highly recommend trying Recess or Hi-Yo. So there's that. And then kind of piggybacking off of that, another tip is to stock your fridge with so many good beverages. Like you should see my fridge. It looks like a vending machine pretty much at all times. And I'm 13 months sober and I still keep my fridge so stocked. Get diet sodas, get the Liquid Death sweet tea, get the Starburst sparkling ice drinks, get the Hi-Yo, the Recess. Did I already say sparkling water? Probably. Get diet root beer, diet Sprite. Or you can get full sugar, but the sugar cravings are kind of out of this world in early sobriety, so I prefer to drink a diet option, especially since I do crave that sugar, and the diet kind of does it without the really high calories. So yeah, pack the fridge with all sorts of good drinks. And I would also say find a water bottle that you really like drinking out of. I drank so much water in the beginning of sobriety because your body is just used to consuming liquids all day. Like, at least for me, I was the kind of drinker who just drank all day. I was sipping on a Coors Light or a White Claw from morning until night. All day long I was drinking because I was after a 2-beer buzz basically all day long. And so sipping on water out of something that I enjoy is really helpful. And I just kind of sip on it all day and mix in those fun drinks that are in your fridge. So let's talk about the sugar cravings. Yes, diet sodas are great for that. Fruit is great for that. I also love True Fruit, which are chocolate-covered fruits. I only get the blueberry ones. In my opinion, the strawberry and the raspberries and the bananas are too large. The chunks are too big. The blueberries are the perfect little bite-sized ones. So, love True Fruit. The other one I recommend, the other dessert, sweet treat, is Nick's ice cream. Nicks. Nick's is mind-blowing. Life-changing. Oh my God. An entire pint of Nick's ice cream is about 300 calories. Some are 280, some are 330, but they're right in that range. Can you believe that? Like, that is so low calorie for a pint of ice cream. To put it in perspective, probably the lowest calorie Ben & Jerry's is 1,100 calories. So you got 300 versus 1,100. It is wild. You can sit there and eat the entire pint and it's like not even that caloric of a dessert. And since the sugar cravings are so strong in the beginning of sobriety, I try to get things that are a little bit lower calorie, so you're not like transferring your addiction into sugar and getting overweight because of that. But on the other hand, the focus is sobriety, so you do want to like listen to your body and not pack on too much at once. My personal opinion is that your only goal should be not drinking alcohol. So if you end up drinking a lot of diet sodas or a lot of sugary desserts or whatever, it's like at least you're not drinking and you can kind of work on the nutrition or the fitness or whatever it is later. But number one goal is sobriety. And that leads me right into my next point, which is in order to make it past those first 3 days, you have to make sobriety a priority, period. It has to be up there with the most important things in your life. Maybe that's your family. Maybe that's your finances. Whatever is important to you, maybe it's your religion, I don't know. Whatever is important to you, sobriety is right there next to it. At least in the beginning, it has to be so important to you. If you're just casually like, I'm going to try to quit drinking, I mean, it's just not going to work. You have to want it. It has to be top of mind. It has to be something that you desire. And you have to be unwavering, like committed to sobriety. The mindset that really helps me too is that you don't have a choice to drink. There is no choice. That's the part that I think some people don't commit to. It's like, you can't wake up every day deciding, will I drink today, will I not? It has to be a no. You don't even have the option. Like, why are we even considering to drink or not to drink? That's why sometimes of course I always understand why people drink after a few days because it's hard and your body physically is dependent on alcohol. So of course it's hard and of course I understand. But if you're committing to sobriety, you don't have a choice to drink. That is not an option. So how does the drink get picked up? You obviously gave yourself a choice. So you have to block that out. It's not an option. Like, if your body is craving a drink, if you're mentally like, wow, I really need a drink. It's been 48 hours and I'm at that point. Like, I need one. I'm stressed. I'm itching for a drink. The choice is not, should I have the drink or should I not? The choice, or you don't have a choice. It is, you are not picking up that drink. So what are you going to do about those feelings instead? Are you going to go take a walk? Are you going to call your sober buddy who's kind of your ally through this? Are you going to walk to Whole Foods and pick up a pack of the Hi-Yo adaptogen drinks? Are you going to do an activity with your hands, like yard work or arts and crafts or a house project of some sort? Doing things with your hands is really, really helpful to kind of keep busy and deal with that restlessness that makes us crave alcohol. Are you going to have an NA beer to get through that flavor craving of a beer? A lot of people don't recommend non-alcoholic drinks in the beginning of sobriety, but I'm not going to lie. Non-alcoholic beer really helped with that evening ritual of having a beer and the flavor craving that comes with it if you're a beer drinker. So for me, I don't think it's like a hard and fast rule, no NA beers in the beginning of sobriety. I think it's fine, but you do you. Okay, so like I said, no choice to drink alcohol. It's absolutely not. You will not drink. You will not pick up that drink. So what are you going to do about those feelings instead? And then you kind of work through actually dealing with what you're feeling. You take a step back and you think, why do I want this drink? Am I having a physical response? Did something stressful happen? Am I sitting around and bored? Am I lonely? When you don't allow yourself the choice, you're committed to sobriety, you actually learn why you have cravings, and that is your superpower. The power is in your hands when you no longer have the choice to drink. Then you can learn what makes you tick. Does that one person at work make you want to drink? Does literally just getting off the couch and walking towards the kitchen make you want to drink? Fill your fridge with non-alcoholic beverages instead. Maybe don't hang around that guy at work as much, or learn how to deal with their annoying behaviors in another way, like redirect. When you are sober and you do not allow yourself the choice, you actually just have to face why you're having cravings and why you're wanting drinks. And the more times that you overcome those cravings, the more you learn about yourself. Every single time you have a craving and you check yourself and say, like, why am I feeling like this? Why am I having this craving? You learn something new about yourself. And that is power right there. That is how you have long-term success in sobriety, is you over and over and over again have these situations that cause temptation, cravings, and you beat them, you defeat them, because alcohol is not an option. So hopefully that mentality is helpful for you. The last tip I will give you is to stay busy, especially in those first 3 days. Like, I think literally just distracting yourself from the fact that you are quitting alcohol is key. Some people recommend you take off work and like basically take a week of sick time to focus on your sobriety. And this is just my personal opinion, because I do see the benefits to that as well, because that would be prioritizing your sobriety. But for me, I believe you should stay as busy as possible. You wake up early and you go for a walk around the block and you get a coffee, and then you go to work, and then during your lunch break, you pop on a podcast and take another walk around your office. You go back to work, you come home, you have booked yourself a workout class, or you're going to make this new recipe, or you're going to assemble some furniture, or you're going to mow the lawn, or you're going to get your nails done. Like, have plans for yourself and stay busy. If you have nothing going on, nowhere to be, and you are just in a lull, if you will, for lack of a better term, you know what I mean. If you are in that zone of I got nothing going on, then make something for yourself. Create a busy schedule. If you have no friends, no job, no anything, you can still say at 7:45, I'm going to walk to this smoothie shop, get a smoothie, and walk back. And that's your plan for a couple hours. Or you're going to deep clean your bathroom. You're going to go get some gloves, some pink gloves from Walmart, and a new Scrub Daddy. And you are going to go to town on your bathroom for 3 hours tonight. And you put it on your schedule. Make yourself busy. And feel free to dive into self-care. Do a mask. Shave your legs. Like, try a new curl routine on your hair. I always say retail therapy is kind of fun and it keeps you busy, but obviously that gets expensive. So I really like to go thrift shopping. So here's another activity. You can do a closet clean out and then take your clothes to the consignment shop or the thrift store, donate or sell your clothes, and then shop around at the thrift store. That's an activity. You can make yourself busy. And like I said, doing things with your hands is really helpful. So Legos, yard work, arts and crafts. I got really into balloon arches, like literally making balloon decor. And the repetitive nature of that was so soothing for me in the beginning of sobriety. So physically keep yourself busy, do stuff with your hands, move your body. Walking is your superpower. Take walks. But then also like mentally keep yourself busy, like have stuff on the schedule. Make yourself busy. And what was I going to say? Oh, the walking. Yeah. Pop on a podcast and walk every single day, multiple times a day. Anytime I was having cravings, I swear to you, I leave the house and I go on a walk and my craving is gone. Another thing about cravings that you can find peace in is that scientifically, stated by who, I don't know, cravings only last 30 minutes. So if you can push through with willpower for 30 minutes and say, don't pick up that drink, then you're good. So that's why it's nice to do the dishes or take a walk or vacuum your living room in those 30 minutes. Like distract yourself, do something else, and then boom, you've made it through the 30 minutes. Congratulations. So that was a lot of tips packed into one episode. But thank you so much for listening, and you got this. The first 3 days are hard, period. But you got to push through. You can do it. And if you're feeling that you need to talk to a doctor, you probably need to talk to a doctor. Okay? Don't be afraid. It's not shameful to talk to a specialist who's done this a million times before with people. They know what they're doing. So it doesn't hurt to ask somebody else. But I hope that regardless, this has helped you out with your sobriety journey. It is hard in the beginning, but it gets better. And you're never going to get to a year sober or 6 months sober or 2 months sober if you don't get past that first week. So push through. The beginning takes a little bit of willpower, and then you develop a lifestyle where you don't need alcohol and everything starts getting a little bit easier. So you got this. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for being a part of our community. And please do rate or review the show if you have a moment. I want to get this podcast out to the people who need to hear it most. I wish that I had a podcast like this when I was getting sober. So the least we can do is rate or review so that it pushes the show out to the people who are looking for stuff like this. So thank you so much. It would be greatly appreciated, and have a great rest of your day. I'll see you for the next episode. Bye.